Hello everybody, thank you for tuning into our Kickstart binder walkthrough. This walkthrough will be separated into three 15-minute videos, so this will be our part 1 of the Kickstart walkthrough. So go ahead and open your binder to the first page. You should see a nice little diagram that looks like this on your screen. This is going to explain some additional benefits to losing body fat. So during the Balance Habits Kickstart program, we're focused on, yes, trying to get you to lose weight, but we're specifically trying to get you to lose body fat. We don't want you to lose lean body mass, which could be anywhere from muscle mass or fluids, things like that. Losing body fat is going to help benefit some of these conditions on the screen. So some of you might suffer from migraines, depression, asthma, hypertension, GERD, gout, type 2 diabetes, or dyslipidemia. A lot of those are going to be resolved by losing body fat. So this is just to give you an overall look on how losing body fat is helpful for your entire body, not just looking better in your clothes or the scale number. Okay, so go ahead and turn your page to the next one. So our second page is talking about Splenda. So a lot of your recipes, which we'll go over later, have Splenda as the sweetener ingredient. The owner of this program, Carolyn Fetters, writes up all the recipes on her own, and she's decided to use Splenda because it bakes better. If you'd like to use Truvia, Stevia, or anything other than that, just let me know and we can work it out. But this is just explaining why she has Splenda in her recipes. Let's go ahead and flip to your next page. So these are just some advice from Carolyn. She just talks about week 1, keep it really simple. You want to start off slow, understand what you're doing in the program. You might not lose any weight during week 1 and week 2, but that's okay. So what we're trying to do is retrain your body and your metabolism to work properly. So if you think about, how many years you've ate the way that you've ate, depending on how old you are, go ahead and give this program a week or 2 for your body to get on track with what you're trying to teach it. Some of you might lose weight on week 1 and week 2, and some of you might not lose any weight until week 3. Either one of those is going to be normal. Just listen to your body, stick with the program, and eventually your body will accommodate. All right. So for our third page of the binder, we have suggested items that will help you with your success. So some of these things we have here for sale at Pursuit Fitness. Our first one is vanilla or chocolate protein powder. So protein powder is going to help with some of your meals. A lot of you don't eat protein at each meal, so trying to fit in eggs or yogurt or meat at every meal might be a little overwhelming. So protein powder is pretty easy to mix into smoothies or oatmeal or anything like that. We can make a simple shake. So we do have vanilla and chocolate protein powder here at Pursuit. It doesn't have any additives. It's very simple. Everyone also needs a food scale. So when we go over our pack and go later on in the binder, it'll explain that you need to know how many ounces something is. So especially with meat, a food scale is needed to know your portion size for your ounces of meat. So for our third one, we have digestive enzymes. So a lot of you that haven't ate protein at each meal are going to feel a little bit constipated the first week or 2, just because your body's not used to it. We do have digestive enzymes here available for purchase. That's just going to help with your body digesting it and breaking it down and being more, it'll be smoother for you, so you won't be as constipated. For the fourth one down, we have meal replacement bars. So these are nice to have for emergencies. I usually always have a meal replacement bar either in my purse or at my desk. It's not really a staple of your diet, but it is nice to have. A lot of you will, go on errands or pick up your kids and you lost track of time and it's already been 4 hours and it's time to eat. So those are good to have as a backup. We do sell the Oh Yeah bars and the Quest bars here at Pursuit. And those are both 3-unit meals, which I will go over later for you. And then the last 2 on this sheet, we have Smooth Moves Herbal Tea Bags, which is a digestive aid. It's not a laxative. And then Evening of Primrose is for women that are on their menstrual cycle. It helps with some PMS symptoms and it helps with water retention. So the first 4 on your sheet that have blue check marks we do have available at Pursuit, and then the last 2 we do not carry. So go ahead and flip to the next page. We'll be on Kickstart rules. So for this, as you know, this is a challenge. There are prizes at the end, but we are focusing on, relearning our diet and resetting our metabolism. So, but for the rules of the challenge, we want to make sure that everyone fills out their journals. We want to hold you accountable to doing what you say you're going to do. We would like you to move. We will prescribe you a cardio and exercise goal that you can follow, but as long as you're adding in some sort of movement, that's always going to help. We would like you to stick with just the Kickstart program. Try not to say, look, I'm going to do the Kickstart, but I'm also doing Weight Watchers, or I'm going to try to do this program at the same time. It's only 28 days. Try to really give yourself entirely to this program and let it do its work. So try to just stick to this program by itself. And this will help, like I said earlier, to just lose body fat, not lean body mass. For our fourth one, so we would like each participant to come in for their weekly weigh-ins. When you come in for your weigh-ins, we will give you your next week's recipes, which I'll go over later. And then please don't use any, steroids or things like that. If you come in all big and buff in week 4, I probably know what you're doing. So just be real and follow the program. Everyone's in the same boat trying to, relearn how to eat correctly and lose fat mass. So, and then our last rule is please eat your 4 meals per day and don't eat less. I want you to know that eating less is not best. It's actually going to be better if you follow the program entirely. Okay, so go ahead and skip to your next page. We will be on our goal sheet. So I actually had each of you write out a goal sheet while you were here doing your initial weigh-ins. So you do have a blank sheet in your binder. I left this blank on purpose so you can have it. You can fill it out again if your goals change halfway through. I will be reaching out to you halfway through the program to see if you are on track for your goals. This is just something to hold you accountable and give you some extra motivation on why you're doing this program and what you're working towards. All right, so our next one, we are on journaling. So on the front flap of your binder, you guys will notice there's a little book. It will be your journal. So we will be checking your journal each week during your weekly weigh-ins, and I really want to emphasize filling this out. So by filling out your journal and what you're eating every day, this is the best way for me to get to know you. And I can't help you if I can't get to know you. So I would like for you to fill out your journal, what you're eating, when you're eating, how much water you're drinking, and at the bottom it says, how do you feel? And that's probably the most important question is, yes, we are trying to, lose weight, lose body fat, but I also want to get you to feel good. I want you to be able to have more energy throughout the day. So the first week, and I'm going to give it to you straight up, you might have a headache, you might be tired, you might be fatigued just because of all the changes. But I guarantee if you stick with it by week 2, you'll start feeling a lot better. You'll have a lot more energy. Your body's kind of getting over that, either sugar addiction or caffeine addiction or whatever you might have. So this just gives you a little background of why journaling is important. So if you want to skip to your next page, it actually gives you a sample of what the journal page looks like. So this is an example of someone eating their 4 meals. So they started at 7 a.m., they ate 4 hours later at 11 a.m. and then at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m. So they just wrote out what they ate, how much, and then they didn't eat anything in between. And then at the bottom they can mark off how many water bottles they drank during that day. And then they can write if they did any type of exercise. So this, I really want to emphasize you guys being honest on this. I'm not here to shame you. I'm not here to judge you. I'm just here to help. So if you're starting brand new and you're like, look, the first week I did really well for the first 3 days and then I ate an entire pizza and 5 cupcakes, that's okay. I just want you to write it down so we can talk about it. Each one of you is going to have a different problem to solve. So I want to help you as an individual for what you're working on. So please be honest in your journaling. All right. So this is one of our most important pages. If you want to flip to your frequently asked questions, and I'm going to go through all of these for you. So our first question at the top is, how many meals per day am I eating and how much time in between meals? So during the Kickstart program, you will have 4 meals a day and they're going to be 4 hours apart. Now, some of you might be looking at your binder a little bit later and say, why do I have 5 meals a day? That's okay. Sometimes we give exceptions for people that are either currently eating often throughout the day, and we think that easing you into 5 meals a day is going to be better. And there's also some people that are just overly active, that are very, very active, and we think 5 meals a day is going to help them. So most of you will be on 4 meals a day. Some of you will be on 5 meals a day. If you are on 5 meals a day, you're going to eat those meals 3 hours apart and not 4 hours apart. For our second question, so is it better to eat 3.5 hours or 4.5 hours apart if I cannot stay on my planned schedule? During the Kickstart, during these 28 days, if you cannot stick to your 4 hours, I would rather you wait to the 4.5 hours. So all of us have enough stored body fat, all of our metabolisms are suppressed enough that we will be okay. You might be a little hungry, but I promise you will be fine if you have to wait 4.5 hours in between your meals. And I know a lot of you say, okay, I'm going to be as strict as I can, and I bet you will, but sometimes life just gets in the way, and your 4 hours kind of fly by, and you have to wait a little bit longer, but that's okay. During this program, I'd like for you to wait longer if you had to. All right, for our third question, so if you go over or under your planned hour, does that alter your next meal? So yes, that will alter your next meal. For example, if we want to think about the journal on the page before, if you're eating at 7, 11, 3, and 7, say you eat breakfast at 7, you eat lunch at 11, and for some reason you couldn't eat your third meal until 4 o'clock, you will actually eat your fourth meal at 8 o'clock now. It will not stay at 7. So whenever you eat your last meal is when you're counting 4 hours from there. Alright, so do I have to eat at the same times each day? You do not. You don't have to eat at the same times each day, but it does help to try to stay on a schedule. Most people do pretty well during the week of eating, if they eat at 7, 11, 3, and 7, or 8, 12, 4, and 8, whatever works best. I do know a lot of us sleep in on the weekends, and that's okay. It might switch up your schedule a little bit, but as long as you can stay pretty consistent, that will be best. Alright, so this is our biggest question on meal timing. So why is it important to wait 4 hours in between meals? So what we're doing is trying to get your body to focus on your own stored fuel. So as you're eating, your body is breaking down food to run as fuel to keep going. Have any of you ever ate lunch around noon and you had dinner at 6, but you were starving by 4 o'clock? And you said, okay, I'm just going to eat, a small snack. I'm just going to have a small apple and some Cheez-Its. And that's normal because we're conditioned to snack. So what we're trying to do in this program is we're trying to even out your meal times for 4 hours a day. And in between those 4 hours, your meal is going to be broken down in about 2.5 to 3 hours. So what that means is you don't have any extra fuel coming from that specific meal, and you have about an hour to an hour and a half of your body saying, okay, I need fuel now. I need something to keep me going. So instead of reaching for that snack or for that apple or chips or grapes or whatever, we're going to force our body to look inward. And we have this little tiny door. We're going to open that door so we can pull out our stored fat calories to burn. All right, so that is the prime time for you to lose the most body fat, is in between your 4 hours. So you might feel a little hungry after week 1. That's okay. That's a good thing. That's what we want. All right. So for the follow-up question of that is, do the 4 hours start when I begin my meal or when I finish my meal? That's going to be at the beginning. So like I said, if you ate at noon, you're going to eat at 4. But if for some reason you ate at 12:30, you're going to eat at 4:30. For what am I not getting? If I'm not getting to each week's menus, do I have to move on to the next week? Absolutely not. These are just, each week's menu is just there to help you and give you ideas. So if you can't make it to all of them, that's quite all right. They are yours to keep, so you can use them whenever you want. The grocery list looks quite long. Do I have to buy everything on it? You do not. You do not. So I will explain the grocery list as we go along. You can actually choose which recipes you'd like to make, so you don't have to buy everything on there. If you don't want to cook, that is absolutely fine. Personally, I usually follow the pack and go, which we will go over. So you can do both, or you can do one or the other. It doesn't matter. And yes, you can still have coffee, iced tea, soda, wine, and beer. However, it just depends on when you're going to have it. So in between meals, we want something with no sugar or no macronutrients. You can have water, plain coffee, plain iced tea. If you want to have soda, beer, wine, or alcohol, it has to be within your meal, and we will go over that later. So this is going to conclude our first part of our binder walkthrough. So go ahead and click on your next link to get to part 2.